Listen to me. I need you to feel this in your bones. Average is not an option. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Some of you, you've been walking around treating life like it's a dress rehearsal, like you're gonna get another shot, like you've got all the time in the world to play small. You don't have the luxury of average. And the sad truth, too many of us have gotten comfortable being average, comfortable with good enough, comfortable with I tried, comfortable with excuses. And that's exactly why so many never taste greatness. Because they settled for average when greatness was always on the table. I want you to think about it like this. When you were born, there were billions of sperm cells fighting for life, racing toward one egg. Out of all those billions, you won. You made it here. You're already the miracle. And you're telling me, after all that, you're okay being average. You fought harder before you were born than you do right now. Before you even took your first breath, you had the heart of a champion, the drive to win. And now life has beaten you into believing average is enough. No, that's not what you were built for. See, average is dangerous. Average is like quicksand. It looks harmless at first. I'll skip the gym today. No big deal. I'll turn in something good enough for work. I'll dream big tomorrow. Little by little, average swallows you whole. It becomes your identity. Before you know it, you're living a life you don't even recognize, and you start lying to yourself that you're okay with it. But deep down, you know you're not. That's why you feel restless. That's why you feel frustrated. That's why you feel stuck. It's because your soul knows you weren't created for average. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you walk into a graveyard. Rows and rows of tombstones. You know what's buried there. Not just bodies. Dreams are buried there. Books that were never written. Businesses that were never started. Inventions that never saw the light of day. Songs that were never sung. Speeches that were never spoken. Ideas that could have changed the world. But somebody chose average instead. Somebody hit snooze. Somebody listened to fear. Somebody gave in to excuses. Somebody said, I'll do it tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. And they took their potential to the grave. And I came here today to tell you, don't let that be your story. Don't let your life end with a what if. Don't let your dreams rot because you chose comfort. Because I promise you, average will cost you everything. It will cost you your destiny, your fulfillment, your joy, your impact. And at the end of your life, you'll realize you traded greatness for comfort. And that's the worst trade you can ever make. Now I can already hear some of you. But I'm tired. I've been through so much. It's hard out here. Listen, I know it's hard. I know life is tough. I know you've been knocked down. I know you've had people betray you. I know you've failed. I know you've cried. But hear me on this. Average doesn't care about your story. Average doesn't care how tough your life has been. Average doesn't care that your father wasn't there, that your mom struggled, that you grew up with nothing. Average will take everything from you if you let it. But greatness says, I don't care what happened to you. I don't care how many times you fell. Get up and keep fighting. That's the difference. Average accepts excuses. Greatness accepts responsibility. Average says, I can't because. Greatness says, I will until. Average lets life happen. Greatness makes life happen. And you got to decide right now which one you're going to live. Because make no mistake about it, average is a choice. Let me give you an example. Think about Michael Jordan. When he got cut from his high school basketball team, he had every reason to quit. He could have said, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'll just play for fun. That's average. But he decided average wasn't an option. He went to work. He trained harder. He pushed himself further. And today we call him the greatest basketball player to ever live. Was it talent? Some. But more than that, it was his refusal to settle. His obsession with greatness, or take Oprah, grew up in poverty, abused, told she'd never make it. She could have said, I'll just get a regular job, play it safe, average. But she decided to keep fighting, keep showing up, keep dreaming, and she became one of the most influential women in the world. Average was on the table, but she pushed it off the table. And it's not just famous people, it's everyday people too. I know a young man who came from nothing, worked 2 jobs, went to school at night, barely slept, and today he's running his own business. Why? Because he refused average. I know a single mom who raised 3 kids, worked overtime, went back to school, and created a better life for her family. Why? Because she refused average. So don't sit there and tell me average is all you can be. Don't sit there and tell me you don't have what it takes. Don't sit there and tell me you can't make it. Because the truth is, you're not tired. You're uninspired. You're not broken. You're distracted. You're not weak. You've just been feeding your excuses more than your purpose. And if you ever decide to feed your purpose, to fuel your fire, to commit fully to your gift, you'll see that average was never even close to who you really are. I need you to understand something. Average is easy. Average is comfortable. Average is safe. But average is also misery. Average is also regret. Average is also living a life that makes you question why you even wake up in the morning. And some of you, if you're honest, you've been living like that. Waking up with no passion, going through the motions, counting down the hours until the weekend, until the vacation, until retirement. That's not living. That's existing. And you were not put on this earth just to exist. You've got a gift inside of you. You've got potential sitting dormant. You've got greatness screaming to come out. But average has been suffocating it. And I'm challenging you today. Break free. Wake up. Shake yourself. Say out loud right now, average is not an option. Write it down. Put it on your mirror. Put it on your wall. Make it your mantra. Because until you believe it, until you embody it, until you live it, you'll keep drifting back to average. Now I know what you're thinking. That sounds good, but how do I do it? You start small. You start by attacking the little things with excellence. If you say you'll wake up at 5 a.m., you wake up at 5 a.m. If you say you'll go to the gym, you go to the gym. If you say you'll finish that project, you finish it. Excellence in the little things leads to excellence in the big things. Average starts small, and so does greatness. The difference is consistency. You build discipline. You build habits. You surround yourself with people who won't let you be average. You cut out the voices that tell you to settle. You block out the noise that says, it's okay, just take it easy. And you replace it with voices that challenge you, that push you, that demand more from you. Because the truth is, if you're the smartest, hardest working person in your circle is too small. Average loves company. And if you surround yourself with average, you'll stay average. But if you surround yourself with greatness, you'll rise. And don't get it twisted. Greatness isn't about being famous. It's not about money. It's not about followers. Greatness is about maximizing the gift God gave you. It's about waking up every day and refusing to waste your potential. It's about leaving this world better than you found it. That's greatness. And it's available to you. But only if you refuse average. So I'll say it one more time. Average is not an option. Not for me, not for you, not for anyone who truly wants to live, not just exist. Now let me tell you something real. The reason so many people settle for average isn't because they don't have the ability. It's because they don't have the commitment. Average feels safe. Average feels comfortable. Average is predictable. But let me ask you, since when did comfort ever build greatness? Since when did safety ever change the world? Nobody remembers the people who played it safe. Nobody writes books about the people who lived comfortable lives. Nobody puts statues up for the people who were good enough. No. We celebrate the ones who went all in, who risked it all, who said, I will not stop until I see this through. And here's the truth. Average costs you more than greatness ever will. You think working hard is expensive. Try regret. You think sacrifice is painful. Try waking up at 60 years old realizing you never even tried. Try explaining to your kids why you gave up on your dream. Try living with the knowledge that you were capable of more, but chose less. That's the price of average, and it's a price far too high to pay. See, people think success is about talent. They think it's about being gifted. No. Success is about consistency. Success is about waking up day after day and refusing to quit. Success is about discipline, about doing what average people won't do. And that's why most people don't succeed. Because average is easy, but greatness is demanding. Greatness requires sweat. Greatness requires sacrifice. Greatness requires late nights and early mornings. And most people would rather stay comfortable than be great. Let me break it down. Average says, I'll go to the gym tomorrow. Greatness says, I'll go now. Average says, I'll work on my business when I have time. Greatness says, I'll make time. Average says, I'm tired. I deserve a break. Greatness says, I'll rest when I've earned it. Average talks. Greatness executes. And that's the difference. Now, I want you to think about your life right now. Where have you allowed average to creep in? Be honest. Maybe it's your health. You've been saying you'll get in shape, but you keep eating junk, keep skipping workouts, keep making excuses. Average. Maybe it's your career. You've been showing up just enough not to get fired, but never enough to excel. Average. Maybe it's your relationships. You've been coasting, not putting in effort, not communicating, not loving at the level you should. Average. And you wonder why you feel unfulfilled, why you feel stuck. It's because average never satisfies. When I was sleeping in abandoned buildings, when I was eating out of trash cans, I had every reason to be average. Every reason. Nobody would have blamed me. Nobody would have judged me if I gave up. But I had to make a decision. Was I going to live the rest of my life average? Or was I going to fight for greatness? And I chose to fight. That's why I'm standing here today. Not because I was smarter. Not because I was stronger. Not because I was luckier. But because I refused average. Let me ask you this. What's your excuse? Seriously? What's the reason you've been giving yourself for staying average? Is it your past? Is it your environment? Is it your lack of resources? Let me tell you something, none of that matters. Because the truth is, people with less than you have achieved more than you. People with harder lives have built empires. People with nothing have risen to the top. So what's your excuse? The only difference between you and them is that they decided average wasn't an option. Look at Thomas Edison. Failed 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. 1,000 times. Average would have quit after 10. Average would have said, this is too hard. But greatness kept going. Or look at J.K. Rowling, rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter was accepted. Average would have given up after the second rejection. Greatness said, I'll keep knocking until someone says yes. And I want you to get this. Greatness isn't just about you. It's about the people connected to you. Your family, your kids, your community are your future. They're all impacted by whether you choose average or greatness. If you settle, they suffer. If you rise, they rise with you. And some of you need to hear this. You've been selfish staying average because it's not just about you. Your greatness is supposed to inspire others, to create opportunities for others to change lives. And as long as you keep choosing average, you're robbing the world of your gift. I remember meeting a young man once. He told me, I want to be successful, but it's hard. I said, of course it's hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But here's the catch. Hard doesn't mean impossible. Hard just means you have to decide if it's worth it. And if your dream is truly your dream, then it's always worth it. Always. So stop complaining about hard. Stop crying about struggle. Stop waiting for the perfect time. There is no perfect time. There is no perfect circumstance. You either choose greatness now, in the middle of the mess, in the middle of the struggle, in the middle of the pain, or you'll never choose it at all. Because average will always be easier, and average will always be available. Greatness requires a decision. Let me hit you with this. If you don't sacrifice for what you want will become the sacrifice. Think about that. You either sacrifice your comfort now to build your dream, or you sacrifice your dream later because you chose comfort. Either way, there's a sacrifice. You just got to decide which one you're willing to live with. And don't think for 1 second that greatness is about luck. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Average never prepares. Average waits for luck. Greatness prepares every day. So when the opportunity comes, they're ready. That's why you see people blow up overnight. No, it wasn't overnight. It was years of grinding in silence, years of preparation, years of refusing average. And when the door finally opened, they were ready to walk through it. So I'm asking you right now, are you preparing? Are you grinding in silence? Are you refusing average even when nobody's watching? Because that's where greatness is built. Not on the stage, not in the spotlight. Greatness is built in the dark, in the quiet, in the moments where average people are sleeping and you're working. Let me give you another example. Kobe Bryant. The man was legendary, not just because of his talent, but because of his work ethic. He practiced at 4 a.m. when everyone else was asleep. He'd shoot 1,000 shots after practice. He was obsessed with greatness. Average players were satisfied with making the league. Kobe wasn't satisfied with just making it. He wanted to dominate it. And he did. Why? Because average was not an option. And that's the challenge I'm laying at your feet today. You gotta stop being satisfied with average. You gotta stop accepting mediocrity in your life. You gotta raise your standards. If you don't like your situation, change it. If you don't like your results, change your actions. If you don't like who you are becoming, change your mindset. Because average will always whisper in your ear, this is enough. But deep down, you know it's not. Average is the enemy of greatness. Average is the killer of dreams. Average is the slow death of your potential. And if you want to break free, you got to make a decision today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when things get easier. Today. Because the longer you wait, the deeper you sink into average. So I'm asking you right now, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep living like average is enough? Or are you going to rise up and say, I refuse to settle. I refuse to waste my gift. I refuse to die average. Because the truth is, greatness is waiting on you. Your potential is waiting on you. Your destiny is waiting on you. But it won't wait forever. At some point, you either step into it or you forfeit it. And that's the choice you have to make. Let's be real. If you keep living average, your future is already written. You'll wake up 10 years from now in the exact same place, maybe a little older, maybe a little more bitter, maybe with a few more regrets, but nothing will have changed. You'll still be working that job you hate. You'll still be making excuses about why you didn't chase your dream. You'll still be scrolling on your phone, watching other people live the life you wanted, and you'll lie to yourself and say, I'm okay. But deep down, you'll know you wasted it. That's the truth about average. It steals your future before you even get there. And here's the worst part. Average feels safe now, but it will destroy you later. Average whispers, take it easy, you deserve rest. Average says, tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. But guess what? Tomorrow is a liar. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Tomorrow doesn't belong to you. All you have is today, right now, this moment. And if you waste it, average wins. Now let me flip it. Imagine if you said average is not an option and you lived it. Imagine if every day you showed up with urgency, with purpose, with fire. Imagine if you gave 120% no matter what. Where would you be in a year? In 5 years? In 10 years? You wouldn't even recognize your life. You'd be healthier, wealthier, stronger, more fulfilled, more impactful. People would look at you and say, how did you do it? And you'd tell them, I refuse to settle. I decided average wasn't enough for me. And let me tell you this, that decision, it's the most important one you'll ever make. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's not about who your parents are. It's about a decision. Every great person you admire made that decision. Every world changer, every legend, every icon, at some point they looked in the mirror and said, I refuse to be average. Think about it. Martin Luther King Jr. could have lived a quiet life as a preacher, average, but he decided to step into greatness, to risk his life for something bigger. Steve Jobs could have been satisfied with a decent tech job, average, but he decided to think different, to push boundaries, to change the world. Serena Williams could have said, it's enough just to play tennis, average, but she decided to dominate, to become the best, to leave a legacy. Over and over, history proves it. Greatness is a decision. Now, some of you are listening right now, and you're thinking, that sounds good, but I failed too much. I've messed up too much. I'm too far gone. No, stop that. That's average talking. Average wants you to believe your past defines you. Greatness says your past prepared you. Every failure was a lesson. Every setback was a setup. Every pain was building your strength. You are not too far gone. As long as you're breathing, you've got a chance to choose greatness. But you gotta want it bad. And I mean bad. You can't just want greatness when it's convenient. You can't just want it when you feel good. You gotta want it when you're tired. You gotta want it when nobody believes in you. You gotta want it when you're broke, when you're struggling. When you're crying, when it feels like the whole world is against you. That's when greatness is built. In the trenches, in the struggle, in the moments where average people give up and you decide, I'm not stopping. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine two students. Both have the same potential. One studies when he feels like it. He puts in some effort, but not too much. He says, C's get degrees. That's average. The other student, he studies every night, even when he's tired. He asks questions. He seeks help. He stays late. He refuses to settle for less than his best. That's greatness. Same potential, different result. Why? Because one accepted average, the other rejected it. And it's not just school. It's in your career, your relationships, your health, your finances, everywhere. Average sneaks in like a thief. Average tells you you can skip the workout. One day won't matter, but one day turns into 1 month. Average says, don't save money. You can always start later. But later never comes. Average says, don't say I love you. They already know. But then relationships fade. Average kills dreams in silence, slowly, until you wake up and wonder what happened to your life. That's why I'm screaming this so loud. Average is not an option. It can't be. Not if you want to live a life that matters. Not if you want to fulfill your potential. Not if you want to die empty, leaving everything you had on the table. You got to declare war on average. You got to get angry at average. You got to look at your life and say, I deserve more. I was made for more. I refuse to settle. And don't get me wrong, rejecting average doesn't mean life will suddenly get easy. It won't. In fact, it will get harder. But it will also get better, because greatness is on the other side of struggle. Greatness is on the other side of sacrifice. Greatness is on the other side of discomfort. And the people who make it are the ones who push through. Look at David Goggins. The man was overweight, depressed, broken. Average told him, this is who you are, accept it. But he decided average wasn't an option. He pushed himself to the extreme, transformed his body, his mind, his life. Today, he's an ultra-endurance athlete inspiring millions. Was it easy? No. But was it worth it? Absolutely. Or look at Elon Musk. People laughed at him, doubted him, mocked him. Average told him, stay in your lane. Play it safe. But he refused. He bet everything, slept in his office, pushed through failure after failure. Today he's reshaping industries. Why? Because average was not an option. And you, yes, you've got that same choice. You can listen to average. You can listen to the excuses, the doubts, the fear. Or you can rise up. You can decide today, right now, that you're done living below your potential, that you're done playing small, that you're done wasting time, that you're ready to step into greatness. But here's the catch. You can't just say it. You gotta live it. You gotta wake up tomorrow and put in the work. You gotta do it when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when nobody's watching. You gotta build habits that kill average and fuel greatness. You gotta hold yourself to a higher standard, even when nobody else does. Because greatness isn't about one big moment. It's about the small, consistent decisions every single day. So what does that look like? It looks like discipline. It looks like saying no to distractions. It looks like turning off the TV and working on your craft. It looks like investing in yourself, reading, learning, growing. It looks like surrounding yourself with people who push you, not people who drag you down. It looks like setting goals so big they scare you and then grinding every day until you reach them. And let me be clear, you will fail. You will fall. You will make mistakes, but that doesn't make you average. What makes you average is staying down. Greatness gets back up. Greatness learns. Greatness grows. Greatness says, you can knock me down 9 times, but I'll get up 10. That's the difference. I'll close with this. One day, your life will flash before your eyes. And in that moment, you'll either be proud of what you see or you'll be filled with regret. You'll either say, I gave it everything. I lived fully. I refused average. Or you'll say, I played it safe. I settled. I wasted it. And that day is coming whether you like it or not. So my question to you is this: what story are you going to write? What legacy are you going to leave? What kind of life are you going to live? Because average is easy, but it will never satisfy you. Greatness is hard, but it will fulfill you. The choice is yours. So I need you to say it with me right now, with conviction, with fire, with belief. Average is not an option. Say it again. Average is not an option. And from this day forward, live like you mean it.